In the quiet town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, an unexplainable terror emerged in the mid-1960s. This wasn't just a fleeting moment of fear, but a wave of horror that gripped the town and its people. Residents began reporting sightings of a creature unlike any they had ever seen, a towering figure with enormous wings and glowing red eyes. They called it the Mothman. Tonight, we take you back to the very beginning, 1966, the year of the first sightings. We'll explore the strange events that followed each encounter, the fear that spread through Point Pleasant, and the devastating disaster that would forever link the Mothman to this small town. Brace yourself, for this is not just a legend, it's a warning. It all began on November 15th, 1966, with two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Mallet, out for a late-night drive near an abandoned TNT factory just outside of Point Pleasant. The couples were out for a drive, enjoying the quiet of the night, when they noticed something unnatural on the side of the road. Standing there, in the headlights of their car, was a creature nearly 7 feet tall, with long, powerful legs, huge wings folded against its back, and eyes that shone an intense red, even in the shadows. It didn't just stand there. They described it as watching them, its eyes seemingly following their every move with a strange, menacing intelligence. When they managed to gather the courage to drive away, hoping to escape this nightmare, the creature unfolded its massive wings and took off. It followed them, flying just above their car as they sped away, sometimes reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour. The couples described feeling a terror they couldn't explain, a dread that went beyond reason, as if this creature was something more than an animal. Word of the encounter spread like wildfire, and soon, Point Pleasant was gripped by panic. The local newspaper picked up the story, and more witnesses began to come forward, each with similar tales of a creature with massive wings and eyes that seemed to glow in the dark. Hunters, teenagers, and even police officers reported seeing the Mothman near the TNT area, an abandoned site filled with maze-like tunnels and shadowy hiding places. The fear wasn't limited to just seeing the creature. Many reported strange phone calls filled with eerie static, sightings of unexplained lights darting across the sky, and a constant feeling of being watched, even in the safety of their homes. People spoke of feeling an oppressive, almost suffocating sense of dread, as if the Mothman wasn't just watching them, it was waiting. Before long, residents began to believe that the Mothman's presence wasn't a mere coincidence. The creature, they said, was a harbinger of doom, a warning of something terrible to come. Sightings grew more frequent, and the atmosphere in Point Pleasant grew tense and fearful. Local ministers began to preach of impending disaster, urging their congregations to seek forgiveness and protection from the unknown forces they believed were at play. Others reported strange dreams in the weeks leading up to the tragedy. Some dreamt of drowning, of bridges collapsing, or of loved ones slipping from their reach into dark waters. These visions seemed connected, as if an unknown force was trying to communicate with them, to warn them of something terrible waiting on the horizon. But the message was unclear, and fear gripped everyone who dared to believe in these signs. On December 15th, 1967, just over a year after the first Mothman sighting, a catastrophe struck. The Silver Bridge, a suspension bridge that connected Point Pleasant to Ohio, was filled with holiday shoppers and commuters returning home. It was an ordinary winter day, cold but peaceful, until the bridge began to tremble. Without warning, the structure gave way, sending dozens of vehicles plummeting into the freezing waters of the Ohio River. 46 people lost their lives that day, in one of the most tragic incidents in the town's history. Many believe the Mothman sightings had been a warning of the disaster, that the creature had tried to communicate the impending doom. Some even claim to have seen the Mothman perched on the bridge days before the collapse, like a dark omen hovering over the town. For the survivors and the families of the victims, The Silver Bridge collapse left an indelible mark. But for the rest of Point Pleasant, the tragedy brought an eerie silence. After that day, the Mothman sightings all but stopped, as if the creature had delivered its message and vanished back into the shadows. Today, Point Pleasant has turned its mysterious visitor into a part of its identity. The annual Mothman Festival draws tourists from all over, eager to learn about the creature that terrified a small town and left a haunting legacy. A statue of the Mothman, with wings spread and eyes gleaming, stands proudly in the heart of Point Pleasant, a tribute to the legend that refuses to fade. To many, the Mothman has become a legend, a strange tale of the supernatural from a town long forgotten. But for those who lived through those dark days, who saw the creature with their own eyes, it is no mere myth. They believe that the Mothman was, and perhaps still is, a warning, a creature that exists beyond our understanding, haunting those who are about to face something unspeakable. So the question remains, was the Mothman a messenger, a creature from another realm, or a symbol of our deepest fears manifesting in a time of dread? The truth may never be known, but one thing is certain. The people of Point Pleasant will never forget the creature with wings as dark as night, a being forever tied to the shadows of their town's past. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Eerie Tales for more haunted legends, dark mysteries, and tales of the unexplained. Who knows what other creatures may be watching, waiting